The Gift. Hi, my name is Greta. I live in a little town at the bottom of the mountains, where all the waters run down in the spring, and the summer rains make the farmers happy, and the autumn leaves dance in the streets by grinning pumpkins, and where the winter snows pile up high and low, frosting our houses like a baker's dream. Holidays are almost here. It is so chilly, and the house is warmed by fireplace and stove, but more, it's warmed by all the things I understand now. I help unbundle the garland and circle the rafters and chase up the stairs. Papa hands me a wreath and tries not to laugh when I almost fall over. It's just so big. My brother Ansel catches me, though Hans rolls his eyes and asks why they're letting baby Greta help decorate. He speaks as though I'm an infant. As though I'll jam fistfuls of tinsel in my mouth and try to grab at candle flames. I glare at him and Papa chuckles. Not so much a baby anymore. He sounds both proud and sad at this, like he's happy to see me grow, but sad about it too. I don't understand. Maybe it's a grown-up thing. When Ansel takes the wreath up the stepladder to hang it, I give Papa's leg a big hug to make the sad go away. It always works. We go out to find our Christmas tree, and for once I'm not left in the sled. Ansel helps me through the deeper snow, while Hans carries the saw. Papa and Mama call for us to slow down. But how can we? The snow is so bright, and the air is like sugar. Ansel and I giggle as we sink into a deep drift, and I see Hans smiling at us, though he pretends to be too old to be silly. That lasts until Mama hits him with a snowball. Now the tools are all on the sled and we're bouncing and dashing about, casting snowballs at each other and hiding behind huge snowdrifts. We play until I find the perfect tree. Yep, I did. I went to hide behind it, and when I did, I felt the tickle from the green and the sweet scent, and I knew. Papa and Mama say they've never seen such a pretty tree, and even Hans said it was pretty good, which is older brother for good job. When we take the tree home, we pass through the main street. My town is always pretty, but at Christmas, it's like a fairy dream. Lights flicker and twinkle everywhere. Ice and snow make holly and ivy shine. We stop at Mr. Brecker's bakery, and Mama and Papa let us pick out whatever we want, while they get hot cocos from Mrs. Brecker's. I pick an apple fritter, but as Mr. Brecker is putting the wax paper around it, I notice a decoration by the Santa Claus. It's a big hairy man with a long tongue and curling horns. He seems to have a basket on his back and branches in his hand. I think he's supposed to be scary, but I think he looks funny. That's Krampus. Hans scares me by sneaking up and whispering in my ear. I give him a mitten swat on the leg as he laughs. You're not funny. Who's Krampus? He's a big, scary demon who takes Santa's naughty list and rides around in a sleigh pulled by wolves. He finds all the naughty children, and then what? I whisper as he gets quieter and quieter. He gets you! Hans yells and grabs me by the shoulders. I scream and start crying. Papa let me ride on the sled with my cocoa and fritter by the tree, while Mama scolds Hans on the way home. Ansel walks with me, telling me how Hans is a doo-doo head, and if anyone should be scared of Krampus, it was him. But now I want to know more. Who was Krampus? Ansel says he's not sure, but Grandmama Luce should know, and I should ask her. I ate my fritter while watching the town go by, seeing reindeer and Santa, and every so often peeking here or there, Krampus. Always away from the happy things, like caroling and presents. Always in the shadows. He looks kind of lonely and a little sad. Grandmama Luce isn't really my grandmama, but she was the best friend of my grandmama before grandmama had to go to heaven. So now she's my grandmama. She comes to visit all the time, and she sneaks little treats for me and my brothers like candies and little toys. While the boys help Papa set up the tree, I'm still a little too small for that, and Mama's making tea, I sit by Grandmama Luce's knee and ask her about Krampus. She smiles and gives a little laugh that I love so much. It makes me feel like I said just the right thing. Ah, little one, who is Krampus? Get comfy, sweetest, and Grandmama will tell. I wiggle closer, and she gives a laugh again. Far back, before the birth of the Christ child, there were many, many spirits and little gods that took care of the land and the people. Many of them are still out there, hiding in the woods and blessing those who are kind and thoughtful. Now, some of these spirits were scary, very scary, for they were powerful and would bend the wind and the snow to their will, freeze the waters with their touch, and one of the most powerful of those winter spirits was Krampus. Was he a bad spirit? Bless you, little one, no. He was scary, but he was fair. Winters were fair and kind when Krampus ruled them. The snows of winter fed the waters of spring, and all was well. But even the wise and fair are not immune to the jealousy of others. Cruel winter spirits overthrew the Krampus, bound him in chains of strongest iron, and turned winter unforgiving. She sighs softly. It was a dark, harsh time to live, but our ancestors, they survived and they prayed. And one day, a saint named Nicholas appeared. He said the great creator had led him here and asked how he could help them. They told him the tales of Krampus, and St. Nicholas nodded and proceeded to follow the track of the winter gods. His warm heart cast away freezing cold. The great chilling wind became lost in his beard, and the bright ringing of his bells drove the cruel spirits away. He found the Krampus, and with but a touch of his hand, broke the chains that bound the Winter King. She sips her tea. I hadn't even noticed Mama bring it. The Krampus swore brotherhood to St. Nicholas, and further promised to punish those who would try to turn the Yule and the Christmas into a time of darkness. I nodded slowly and whisper, but why are people scared of Krampus then? Grandmama sighs. Because bad people don't like being punished for their wickedness. So they tell tales of Krampus as a demon, as a chained beast, led by St. Nicholas as an attack dog. She snorts like she wants to spit, then sighs and smiles softly. But no, you know, little snow angel. Stay sweet, stay kind, and you need never fear the Winter King. I nod, but remember something else about the decorations. Why does he still wear the chains? Grandmama smiles again. To remind himself of his duty and bring fear to those he seeks. I nod again. I think about what Grandmama Lou said that night as I lay in bed. It sounds like most people don't know the story of Krampus. I always heard stories about Santa Claus, and we always put out milk and cookies for him, and maybe something for his reindeer. Did anybody leave anything out for Krampus? Has anyone given him a gift? I quietly scramble out of my bed and move to my piggy bank. A quick shake. It doesn't sound very full. I pull the cork on the belly and shake out 2 buttons, a nickel, and a bottle cap. I don't think that'll get a good gift. I sigh and scoop all of it back into Piggy, putting him back on the dresser. I was going to have to think of something else. I lay back on my pillows and pull the covers up again. Mom always said if you make a gift, it's better than one you buy. But what am I going to make? I look out the window. What would someone like Mr. Krampus want for the holidays? I hear the clock in the hall chime the time, and smile as an idea comes to me. Morning rises, and I'm up before Mama finishes saying the word breakfast. I sit at the table and carefully spoon oatmeal with honey into my mouth. Mama and Papa look surprised to see me up and eager, while the boys are still yawning and fighting for the bathroom. Mama won't let me out in the house without my coat and boots, and I have to wait for Papa to finish his coffee before we can go outside. But when he finishes, I follow him out the door, barely able to move from all of Mama's bundling. But it's enough for me to get to the barn. It's not a very big barn, and it mostly holds tools now. Papa says we used to have a cow, but it was easier to raise chickens for eggs because chickens don't eat so much. But that's okay. I go in and find the old crate where Papa keeps old things he doesn't use, but might later. There's some old springs and broken things, empty cans and feed bags, and hanging a bit on one corner is just the thing. The old cowbell. I pick it up and, well, I kind of frown at it. The old metal's rusted and it doesn't sound so good. To Papa! I take off out of the barn and the bell clanking a little behind me as I run. Finding Papa's easy. I just round the barn and follow the clucking and squawking. Papa's standing by the chicken fence, tossing handfuls of crushed corn, oats, and peas to the milling chickens and the big strutting rooster. I'm glad I found him before he checks the fence, 'cause he always gets a bit grumpy when dealing with the prickly chicken wire. He turns at the approaching clanks and cocks his head with a smile. "Morning, Greta. What do you have there?" I hold up the bell with both hands. Can we make it shiny?" He looks a little confused. "I suppose, but then why do you want a shiny cowbell?" "I'm going to make it pretty." "Okay." He waits for me to say more, but I just give the bell a shake and a clank. He laughs and shrugs. "Well, we'll need the rust brush and maybe some strong polish." But I'm already running for the kitchen, squealing. I'm hopping up and down as Mama gets the wire brush from the tool closet. She looks like she's not sure it's safe, but Papa comes in after, holding up his big coat and hat. His big Papa boots put by mine near the fireplace. I start brushing the bell. Well, I try to brush the bell. It's not my fault. The bell is just too big, and so's the brush. Papa takes over brushing while Mama and I make the polish. It's got stinky vinegar, baking powder, I giggle at the foam, some salt, and a bit of lemon juice. When Papa has the worst of the rust and old paint off, we put the bell in the polish and wait. Or, well, I don't wait because I need to write my letter to Santa. I get my paper and pencil and sit down at the table so I can make sure the bell's okay while I carefully write. Dear Santa. The bell comes out of the polish, gets a bit more scrubbing with the wire brush, a wash, and dried with a soft cloth. It's all pretty and shiny now. Papa's even cleaned the little clapper inside, and it makes a much prettier sound than it used to. I run and get my art kit, lots of ribbons and colored paper and pencils and shiny things, and even some little jingly bells. I get to work cutting out shapes and having Mama glue them together. She's better at it, and I want this to look really, really good. And Mama gets some wire so I can tie the red and green shapes and the jingly bells to the cowbell. I give it a ring, and it sounds so good. My brothers are really confused, though they say when I say it's a present, Ansel just shrugs. Hans says it's for my boyfriend because he's a doo-doo head. The next day is important. Like, really super important. We're going to town to get what we need for Christmas dinner, which isn't the important part. Well, it is, but only because I want to make sure Mama doesn't get sprouts this year. She gets them anyway. But I have my letter to Santa all done and sealed in an envelope and address, and I gotta get it to Mr. Postman before it gets too late, because I don't know how long it'll take to get to the North Pole. I look out the front window of the store, and oh no, he's already taking the mail from the big mailbox. He's got the bag and he's walking away. I shake in place until the food is all paid for, then run out the door. I know I shouldn't because Mommy was afraid I'll slip and fall, but this is important. I keep calling for Mr. Postman as he rolls the bag down the sidewalk, but he doesn't seem to hear me. And then someone behind me gives a loud, sharp whistle. I look up to see Hans waving and realize that Mr. Postman heard him. He's coming back with a little smile on his face. He's old. Older than Mama and Papa, but maybe not as old as Grandmama Luce. "Help you, young sir." My sister's got a letter. Hans ruffles my hat on my head as I hold up the letter with both hands, afraid the wind'll take it if I don't. Mr. Postman takes it gently, and pushes his glasses up on his nose, reading the address. He nods and smiles down at me. A very important one, too. Don't worry, little miss. First class all the way. He tucks it carefully into his bag and starts walking again. I turn to Hans and hug his legs tight. Thank you, Hans. I muffle into his knees. He ruffles my hat again. Hey, don't mention it, just, yeah. I look up and either the cold's nipping at his cheeks or he's blushing. The next few days pass too fast and too slow at the same time. How does it do that? Christmas magic? It must be because it feels like we just got home from shopping. Then we're going caroling with Mama and Papa's friends. Then we're home and eating all sorts of delicious foods Mama and Grandmama Luce made for us. And now I'm laying in my bed, staring out the window. Snow's falling softly, and my blankets are so warm and cozy. But I just can't sleep. Is Santa on his way? Did he get my letter in time? Will he be able to do what I wished for? The time ticks on, and just as I'm about to fall asleep, I hear a jingle. It's soft, like someone tapped a spoon on glass, but I heard it. I grip my teddy bear as I listen. Yes, there's someone downstairs. I almost fall out of bed, scrambling to get out, pulling on my nightgown and carrying Teddy with me as I try to sneak down past Mama and Papa's room and past Hans and Ansel's room as well. I reach the stairs. It's quiet. Very quiet. Did I make a mistake? Maybe it was a sound outside, or the clock in the hall. Then I hear footsteps again. They sound big. I go down the stairs one at a time, like Papa says, so I don't fall, and I peek around the door frame. There's a figure by the Christmas tree. He's tall, at least as tall as Papa, and wide. The fire is out and the curtains are drawn, but I can see him clear as day, in a big red coat and pants, black boots and a red cap all trimmed in white. I have so many things I want to say, so many things I want to ask. Hello, Greta. He turns his head and smiles at me. His eyes twinkle like stars, his cheeks look like red roses, and his beard. I remember what Grandmama Luce said. The wicked winds of winter got lost in his great beard. And it looks like they could, too. You've been a very good girl this year, Greta. He turns and rests his thumb in his big black belt. He smells like pine trees, gingerbread, and winter snow. Thank you, I whisper. Why is my voice trying to hide? I got your letter. He smiles wider and his whole face glows again. I feel warm from my toes to my nose, and now I know he's happy about what I asked for. Did you bring him? I ask softly, my tummy fluttering now. He gives a laugh, his big belly shaking. Oh, I did. Took a great deal to convince him to come. I feel a little scared. Why? Doesn't he like me? Santa laughs again. Oh, sweet Greta, Krampus isn't used to kind children. He mostly sees naughty ones. And so, I think he doesn't know how to act around good boys and girls. And it makes him a little shy. Why don't you go get it while I bring him in? He winks and I can't help it. I start giggling as I hurry over to the tree, wiggling past boxes and boxes until I find it. I wiggle back out again, clutching the present hard as I turn. Standing beside, and a little behind, Santa is another figure. He's tall, so tall his horns almost brush the ceiling beams. He's covered in smoky fur. Shades of black and gray and white seem to change between the three colors as I watch. He has a human face, though his eyes are like a cat's, bright with black slits. He has a ring through his nose, wears a tattered pair of pants, and has chains draped around him that clink as he shifts on his hooves. Yes, he has hooves, black as Santa's boots. I realize now that he also smells slightly a little like a farm animal, a bit like coal, and a bit like a gloomy day. I should be scared, but the way he shifts on his hooves and kind of stays a bit back behind Santa reminds me of the times when Mama and Papa have introduced me to new teachers or people I don't know at stores. He's nervous and a little scared. Like Santa said, he's shy.
Krampus, this is Greta. Greta asked me if I could bring you here because she worked very hard on a present just for you and wanted to give it to you in person.
And he reaches up and puts a white-gloved hand on Krampus's shoulder.
Go ahead, she's very nice.
Mr. Krampus takes a few little steps closer and kneels down slightly. I hold up the package for him, and he takes it in one big hand, staring at the wrapping paper and bow like he's never seen anything like it before. He looks at me and I nod eagerly. I can't stop giggling as he carefully undoes the bow and tugs the paper free. He seems to be expecting it to blow away or turn to dust or something. When the last of the paper falls away, Santa's glow shines on the polished metal, and the big cowbell seems to glow like it has its own light. It reflects in Mr. Krampus's eyes, and they widen as he carefully touches it. His face breaks into a giant smile, revealing sharp teeth and a big tongue, as he presses the bell to one of his chains. I don't know how it works, but it clicks into place, and when he lets go, the bell's attached. He gives a little movement and it clangs. Mr. Krampus laughs, a sound just as deep as Santa's, and claps his hands. He looks at me and holds out a hand like he wants to shake. Danke. I don't shake hands. I walk right up and hug him. Up close, he smells like a nice cold winter day. His fur is warm like a down comforter when the winds blow. I remember what Grandmama Luce told me to say. Happy Krampusnacht, Mr. Krampus. After a moment, he pats me on the back with one hand. His voice sounds different, like he's trying not to cry, but I can hear him smiling.
Thank you, Greta. Merry Christmas.
I step back from the hug and catch both of them wiping their eyes. I grin up at them. Mama says it's okay to cry if you're happy.
Your mother is a very wise woman, Santa chuckles as Krampus grins. Now, back up to bed, young lady. Don't forget Mr. Bear.
I grab my teddy and start up the stairs again, then turn and remember. Merry Christmas, Mr. Claus. Merry Christmas, Mr. Krampus. They both wave, and suddenly, in a big whirl of light and wind and shadows, they're gone. I yawn and take myself back up to bed. In the morning, Ansel wakes me, and I follow him and Hans downstairs. All the presents are there, tucked under the tree, with all of our names, and Mama and Papa's on some too. We sit as Mama and Papa come downstairs, slower and yawnier than we are, and start unwrapping. We're almost done. I got so many nice things, and Mama and Papa and Ansel and even Hans liked what I got them, when Mama notices one more gift. It was on the opposite side of the fireplace, away from the tree, and it was very messily wrapped, like someone who never wrapped a gift before tried really hard. It's marked Greta. I unwrap it carefully, and oh, it's so nice. It's Mr. Krampus, or at least a doll of him, with little metal chains and soft fur and solid horns. I giggle and hug it tight. I can hear Mama and Papa whispering. I think they're trying to figure out who gave it to me. Ansel and Hans are looking at the front of the fireplace, where it looks like someone in big boots and something with hooves walked through the soot. And Papa looks at the piece of paper that had been tied to the new doll. It has 3 words on it. Gruß von Krampus. Merry Christmas, Happy Krampusnacht, and Gruß von Krampus.